Hello, and welcome to this screencast from Easy Peasy Photoshop Tutorials. On this screencast, we want to look over some basic selection tools. So let's get right to it. If we go over here to the toolbar over to the left, we can see that rectangular marquee tool is the one here. If we click and hold, we can also see that there are 4 other tools that we can play with. Well, let's see what the rectangular marquee tool will do for us. What this does is allow us to, let's go ahead and get him up there a little bit better. But we can draw different boxes, sizes, everything that we want. Well, what can we do with a selection? Well, if we want, we can say copy and then hit the Command V, paste, and you'll see that another layer over here has come up, and you see that we have that piece that we copied from that marquee tool. We'll go ahead and get rid of him. We'll hit M again. Another thing that we can do with selections is that we can bring up like an adjustment tool. Yeah, let's try mode adjustment levels. And what happens is we can do things, and everything within that selection is going to be affected. Okay, so you can see how that is. Now then, if you don't like those little marching ants, as they are called, you can hit Command H, and it's still there, but now it's invisible. And we can play around with this a little bit more, and you can see what's happening. Hit Command H again, cancel out of this. So that's a marquee selection. And one thing to remember is that you have to click, drag, and hold. Click, hold, and drag, I should say, in order to make the marquee show up. So what else is in here? We have an elliptical marquee tool. And what you can do here is that you can have ovals of various sizes, very similar to the square marquee. Well, what if you wanted a circle or a square? Well, if you hold down the Shift key, now we have the elliptical, and we go like that. Now you have a perfect circle, so that if you wanted to bring up something and adjust it, use curves. We can lighten it up a little bit or darken it up a little bit. Say OK. We can hide that marching ant. We can say, look at that, it's interesting. But as you can see, whatever's inside of that will happen. Well, let's show you this little thing. We'll make another little circle here. Now I will hit Shift Command I, or if we go to the select menu and we'll say inverse, which is Shift Command I. And now whenever we bring up an adjustment and curves again, and we want to darken it up this time, we darken up everything on the outside of that circle. So you can inverse your selection as well. And if you really need something, you can do like this, which is now a 1 pixel selection. We'll zoom in here to where we can see how it's done 1 pixel. And we go to the vertical, we can do the same thing there. Now you're saying 1 pixel? Well, actually, it has come in handy a few times, because I can come in here and say, oh, let's say modify and expand by 5 pixels. Now then, that's a little bit better. And I can move this selection around if I need to. So that's another little handy little tip that we can use whenever we're working on some files. And we'll zoom back out. And let's look at what we can do with the lasso tool. Now lasso tool allows you to click, hold, and drag and go around these areas. And so we can quickly come up with an odd shape, go around that pumpkin eye. But it's a little bit harder if we want to have something more exact. So we can use a polygon tool, and this allows us to go like this, kind of click in until do that. But polygon only allows you to do click to click to click. If we go back to the lasso tool, if we hold down the alternate or the option, then we can have the same click. But then if I click, hold, and drag, I can go around curves if I want. So I can add to that flexibility. So I can come up with a little bit more stricter mask. Well, let's look again. Now we have the magnetic lasso tool. And what this does is using color and values in here. So if we do it like that, well, actually, yeah, there we go. So it's looking at the differences in value, and there it's having problems. As you can see, it's a kind of a nifty idea, but a lot of times it doesn't quite work out the way we want it. So that is a magnetic lasso tool. Next one we want to look at is the magic wands. And what we do here is we go by this tolerance, and if we click here, it clicks all those colors and values within that tolerance. Now if you hold down the shift key, which adds, you can keep on clicking until you get more of the selection that you want. Now here we went on the outside, and that's because there are some values and colors that are similar to the area that I just clicked. So we'll click there. In fact, we'll just go ahead and delete that. And then the last one we'll look at is a quick selection tool. And this is kind of neat because you can kind of go along here and you kind of drag him around, and again he's looking for the differences in the values and the tones. If you hold down the option key, you can kind of delete portions of that. So there you go. You have a pretty nice selection there. Last thing I want to show you is in the select is called color range. This works similar in that you can pick out a color and you can start seeing an image here, and we can add some more colors, and we can add these, and we can subtract those, and we can come down to the fuzziness here, and we can hit OK, and there are our selection again. And again, you're going to have to come back here and modify that selection to get a good pumpkin. So that's a basic overview of selections. In a future screencast, what we'll show is how to get a much better mask for something like this pumpkin. Well, that's it for this time. We'll see you next time, and take it easy.